I've said it before, but as I was touring, in my life, touring different countries, different cities, and on and on, it was very clear to me all through my life that gatherings like this, they were supposed to be sacred services. And I knew that in ancient times, you could just hear it if you feel it and tune into such things. You can tell that ancient times, it was always about God and deepening our consciousness to attain, to reach, to access that divinity. Every note of the music was supposed to be channeled to accentuate, right? It was never supposed to be a performance. The talks were never supposed to be performances. It was about God. It was the honor to be in the presence of that light, that love. It was supposed to be about, the raising consciousness. So imagine every note, even prior to the service, it was supposed to be like a building and a building and a build, so that when you step in, it's boom, right? Intention. I mean, honestly, intention that's being built throughout this. The so-called stage really was supposed to be a vortex, so that a speaker, a performer, if they get out of the way, they step into it and something magical happens. See? Because it's not contrived. And so I always knew that, and yet that's not the way most are done. Too often music is a performance. I've been touring a long time. 40 something years, teaching and touring. Never, I always went straight into meditation, as I do here. I go to some centers, they go, we'll start the service, Michael, and we'll start off with a meditation. How did you jump into meditation? We just got here. Start with a prayer, set the tone. Let the music set the tone. Let the prayer set to keep building. The talk should be part of that music, part of the tone. And keep going from there. Just building and building. And then go right deeply into meditation. So I always go straight into it. So whenever I went on tour, it was in my contract. This is how we're going to do the service today. Oh, well, we were going to do this, and then no. It's, make it deeper, make it a sacred experience. Never allowed applause, because it's not supposed to be a talk and then applause, and now let's meditate. You broke it up with applause. No, let's go straight into, and I'm not saying not to applaud, especially guest musicians, absolutely. Or when you hear something wonderful and you all respond to it, it's spontaneous, it's spirit in you going, oh my God, that was wonderful. That's great. I'm talking about contrived. A talk and applause, and then you try to meditate. Never believed in that. So everything in our lives, and that's what sacred is. Your household, the people thought, that, I'll just get feng shuied, and then everything will be holy in my life. Are you living this feng shui? Is it part of your consciousness? No, I just put a water fountain in the corner and I'm still a jerk. That's not helping anything. All you have is backdrop for being a jerk, We have to become the change we want to see in the world. Come on. How much fear are you infusing into your household? How much intensity, argument, fight. It's okay because we have bad days. But do you have a space in your home where you can go, I'm going to go sit here and cry and release and pound on a pillow, and it's okay because my home is a safe space. It's almost like there's a space in my home allowed for me to open my heart and heal. Let stuff out. So I'm not talking about constriction or judging your feelings. But do you take your stuff out on the household? Do you take your stuff out on people? And, there were a few comments shared, things you'd like me to talk about. One of the first that popped out, was love. Yes, real love. That was the wording, I think, right? Real love. So in incorporating a couple of those words and requests for today, something to me that's really underestimated is this. We keep talking about how we want to be more spiritual. Well, Do you acknowledge any progress at all in your spirituality? Or do we take it for granted? Right? Oh, I read a good book. Okay, well, was it just good? Read the best books. Don't just read books. Don't just meditate. Do the best meditations you can do. I don't mean work hard. When the intention is right, you slip into things and magic happens. But to me, people underestimate, I'm praying for a good day. Was the day good? Well, it was okay. Was it better than yesterday? Yeah. How much better? Maybe 20%. Stop. Give thanks. 20%. Nice. Give yourself credit. You must have made some changes. You must have gotten the appropriate consciousness. You must have set a better intention. Say yes. Say yes. Own it. Own it. Own the betterment of your life. We never just have okay musicians visit here. And I'm not saying that there's musicians that are bad. It's about, do they fit in? There are people that want to give us money to rent the hall here. Okay, what do you teach? And let me tell you, there's some really strange things out there, man. They're offering us money, and we have to say no. We're not judging what they do. Is it building the vibe, or is it not? When folks come in on Sunday, will they say there's a heightened vibe here? If they say, oh, you guys better smudge the place, that's probably not a good sign. Okay? When people, I felt like I was slimed, like in the old Ghostbuster movie. That's not a good sign. So, wow, be consistent, be congruent. Own your house. Own your life. Own your body. I mean, many people watching the program here, and these are people that are on the path, and they still feel like, oh, there was this one relationship. I'm still smudging because, wow. Bless me, Father, for I apparently have sinned. You'll go Catholic for a minute, rosaries, you'll try anything to let go of that previous relationship. Because there's some sick stuff we've done. And it's not to judge ourselves, it's to laugh. How absurd was I? What was I thinking? You weren't. You weren't. You were reacting, you were being compulsive, you were being addicted, but you were not. Where's the inspiration for today? Everything congruent. More and more. Getting everything to be congruent and in alignment in our lives. But one thing, as much as you might do that, okay, I'm going to go more congruent. I'm going to start living more my life, my beliefs and prayers and spirituality and profound consciousness, prosperity. Do it. If you don't own the progress, it comes in and goes out. There's something of value that helps anchor in the things you guys were sharing that you'd like me to talk about. Bring it in and anchor it, ground it. If I'm a musician and I play and there's something extraordinary that happens and I go, wow, and then just brush it off, I missed an opportunity. If I just channeled something today as a musician. There was something powerful that just happened. What I would want to do, own it, and now I'm permanently at that level, ready to go to another level. Humans don't do that. Masters do. Humans, they don't. One step forward, one step back. Oh, I'm dating a new person. It feels really good. I'm dating a new person. Wow, a step forward, and then, yeah, it was nice. And they step back. You can tell because the tone of their voice. They don't want to own that anything was better in their life. Why? Worthiness. Fear it might go away tomorrow. I mean, honestly, tune in. Look at how humans and ourselves, how we've done this. Wow, that was wonderful, but a step back. It was wonderful and go for it. And yes, this is what I want in my life. Good. Own it. Integrate it. Breathe it in. If your body, which comes from your consciousness, if your body is so messed up that you go and take nutrients and yet you're like, well, I'm taking these really great nutrients, but in consciousness, unconscious to yourself, you're like, the body is responding going, well, we don't really want to absorb all those great nutrients. That's not good. But that's what the body's going to do, because that's what your mind does. If you're the type of person who new things come into your life and you just kind of don't own them, don't breathe them, don't soak them in, then your body's going to do that. Here come some nutrients. We don't want to, let's just let it pass through. Money wasted. It's not healthy. That's not what mastery is about. Get this idea of yes. Get this idea of owning, integrating. They're all the same. That's why the concept of gratitude is so underestimated. Some teachers have come out and explained, we really should practice gratitude more. And they have their various reasons and their good reasons, but this is the most important reason. Gratitude means I'm going to own that my life was better today. I'm going to own that my life is better. I'm going to own that this was a better experience than I've had. I see people do this all the time. It's amazing. I've seen people who are interviewed, let's say a tragedy or a scary thing happened in their life. And they'll use these words. Yeah, there was this thing that happened. I was standing there and there was this creature that was 40 foot tall in the ocean as I was just on my little boat. And then this giant creature, and they'll say these words. That was one of the scariest experiences I've ever had. Really? Tell me the other one that was matching that. Because if you had a 40-foot creature out of the ocean come up as you're on your rowboat and you had other ones that can compare, I would like to know what those were. I'm going to write a book, man. I'm going to tell Stephen King. Is that his name? I got to tell him about it. Guys, it's not one of. It's the most. That was the scariest experiences. Why do people have this, holding back? There's these shows on TV about psychics, and then they'll always say something if they bring up Edgar Cayce. And they'll say, Edgar Cayce, one of the most gifted psychics in America. First, he's not just a psychic. Second, one of? Show me another one. In America, really? I didn't realize in Madagascar there's somebody similar, or in some other, town. 90-something% accuracy. And I mean, we won't even go into the kinds of things he could pull off. He's not one of. There's nobody else. And if there's somebody else, bring it on. But own something. Own that, that experience you had. That was the most wonderful hug I've ever experienced. Not because you're embellishing or exaggerating or lying to yourself. I'm talking about when it's real, then let it be real. Let it be absorbed. I've seen people go, oh yeah, Jesus, yeah, he's right up there with, this author of today. Oh, Buddha, yeah, he's kind of like this author of today. No, I won't name names, but no. Your authors are not kind of up there with Buddha. Those great beings are not just great because we remember them being great. They're great because of the consciousness they attained. Krishna is not just, kind of. When Yogananda. Why is Yogananda? He's not one of. He's definitely the most influential yogi that has come to America. Now, why? He was into Christ consciousness. What was unique about Ernest Holmes? Because he didn't just talk about positive things. He said, Christ is the name of God in man. So Christ isn't, I was thinking about attaining a new level of consciousness. And I was thinking, Snickers consciousness, vegetarian consciousness, maybe Christ, really? Fire hydrant and, is that all Christ consciousness is? No, it's the name of God in man. You don't get higher. But religion spoiled the name, unfortunately. But just own, what is the highest? And if you say the highest consciousness for me is Krishna consciousness, go for it. Name it and attain it. Don't talk about it. Don't make it, I would like to, but I can't. Don't have a moment and then brush it off. When you've had a profound meditation, own it for the rest of your life. Right? Own it for the rest of your life. A day at a time doesn't just mean, ooh, in my recovery, I just claw to try to attain one more day. Own, yes, I attained a day at a time. Not, I wish another day, if only. That's a completely lacking consciousness personality type. Own these things. Own that you've had good. The center here and our teachings, what we do here. You know, it's kind of good. There's probably lots of this religion and that religion that are similar. If you like it, own it. And own that you created the experience. If you like it, you created it. If you don't like it, look at that. What is it that was in you that corrupted it that day? In our lives, man, it's so amazing. Food. Oh, it's food. Why eat food that's so-so? Why would you want to do that? Oh, I can't wait. I'm just starting my day. I'm, dear Lord of Christ consciousness, of Almighty Padme. I want a completely so-so day. So. Is that your mantra? Seriously? I'm sorry, guests. Why would that even be attractive? There's a reason, but that it is attractive. It's addictive, in fact. Why? Because if I say, I don't just want so-so, but my day only goes so-so, I feel like a failure. What if I say, I don't just want so-so, I want greater, and I get greater, but greater isn't there the following day? You see what happens in the psyche? Oh my God, one day it was great, and now it dropped again. And I'm sorry for that, because it does hurt to have those moments. And that's because your ego has no intention of you going, oh, look at me, boom, 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 boom. That the ego doesn't want. The ego exists to keep that from happening. So what I have to do is own every bit of success. Things that didn't go well, I will learn from, absorb the lesson, and that'll take me higher. This is how you best deal with, not fight, not kill the ego. It's how you best deal with the ego. You basically are retiring it for lack of work. That's it. You're basically saying, oh, first of all, I'm owning some positives in my life, some changes. The ego isn't involved in that. It's going to try, but it's not because I'm already owning it. But when you have seeming negatives and hurts and lacks in situations, it's going to be there for sure, pushing your mind to punish yourself for that. But when you say, but here's what I learned from that, and that took you higher, the ego's like, what is wrong with you? You have positives and you leave me out. You have negatives and you leave me out. That's not a normal human thing. That's because you're turning into a master. Whatever it may be. And you know, I mean, this is everything. I remember like holidays. Holidays weren't great in my household as a kid. But I kept wanting the holidays to be better. And I kept hoping, you know, it's Christmas and love and God, and just, you know, it just doesn't go well. Especially if you live with psychopaths, okay? So, well, psychopaths have this tendency to go, you look happy. I'm coming after you. That's what they do. Narcissists, you know, there's certain personality types. And they look, oh, you seem happy. How could we ruin that? It's a type. So that happened a lot in my childhood. And it wasn't until, and even after, you know, I mean, I know I'm trying to, you know, create better holidays. It wasn't until I was probably around 40, which is 20 plus years ago. But I was around 40 where all of a sudden I created my most perfect to the date, to that time, Christmas week. It was absolutely perfect. The relations, the friendships, the support, the camaraderie, the trust, the expansiveness, the happiness, it was all there. And snow came Christmas Eve. And man, it was just, perfect. Now, would a human being go, yeah, that was okay. Yeah. It really was great, but that's humans. Nothing can take that from me. I had the best ever. And then because I tasted that. And when you taste something like that, it becomes part of your consciousness if you own it. If you give thanks and own it. If you brush it off, you'll start from scratch again. But I owned it, and you know what that does? It gives you the cells and the neurons to know what it looks like. Now you can create it again. When you have a meditation that you can own and go, oh my God, don't go and try to get the same one. That's not what I said. Own the consciousness, own the appreciation. Because everybody's tempted to go, wow, I had this meditation where I saw light and angels, and then they go and close their eyes. I want it again. Let's go. That's not how you get it. You have to become. Seek first the kingdom of heaven means seek first and foremost the consciousness of God, and all else will be added. Well, where is it? I'm waiting for that. Now, here's what we're doing. When you belittle the good things in your life, or you shun them, or you push them away, or even when you slightly ignore them, here's what you're doing. You're doing that. One of the things you're potentially doing is there's people who, when it comes to dating, they have this tendency to go, I wonder if that's the one. No, that wasn't. I guess maybe that's the one. What you're doing is putting all this agenda and pressure on a person. And they're like, we haven't even met. Like, what? I was just walking down the street. And yet there's this, crosshairs. My soulmate. And you're like, what? What? You just feel this weird tentacle kind of enter, I'm really a great teacher when it comes to romance and partnership. Come see me. I'll talk you out of it. No. Yeah. But it's true. When you do that, you think it's a beautiful idealization, like a wonderful, I have the ideal, for a relationship. They're going to be like this, and they're going to be like this. And hey, what you're doing is you're putting a pressure. It's a fantasy, first of all. Secondly, it's a pressure that most people are not going to likely live up to, which means you're setting yourself up for a failure. So even though it sounds like positive thinking, I went to this workshop. They told me, and I've seen people do this. They do their treasure mapping. They do their, charts. And they, cut out Kevin Costner and glue him up there, and, and then he gets older, so it's got to be Brad Pitt. And then he gets older, and, it's always got to be somebody 20, and now you're 135. It's disturbing. It's kind of weird. Whoever goes and finds a senior magazine and starts, my ideal partnership, and it's, right? I'm sorry. But who does that? There's this weird idealization, and then what you want them to be. You didn't ask them who they are. You said, here's what I want you to be. If they don't fit, If they fit for a while in the change, I can't believe, and then you go and sit with your friends. They made me think they were this way and they're not. You had it in your mind. Stop, retire people from agendas and roles. You tell me who you are, right? You tell me. It's one of the great Arthurian stories, which I won't go into, but at some point, it breaks this evil spell because this knight had the wherewithal to say to the maiden, you tell me what you would like. Instead of, I'm the king, I'm the knight. Asking, what is it you're about? Because that's relationship is learning what each other's about. That's what the dynamic is supposed to look like. It's a dance. So it's kind of like, wow, this is cool. Ooh, okay. And you move with each other. This beautiful fusion. It's not supposed to be linear and hardened. Here's how it's going to be. I want you to fit that box. So it's so strange, this world. But when you do that, when you create this, I have my image. It's on my chart. And there's a picture of a pot of gold and your face. If ever you get arrested, you're going to be on some TV program where they're going to show what your house looked like. And it had, people's faces. It's called stalking. I mean, it is, it's called stalking people. They have this in movies. So, So, why? An unattainable something is your promise to yourself that you'll never get anywhere. Why would you want that? Low self-worth, self-sabotage. Okay, so instead of that, somebody says to me, Michael, they're paying me, having a session. Where are they? Where's my one and only? My take would be this. Tell me about your life. Well, terrible and betrayal and blah, 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 blah. No affection and so on. Wow. And so they're looking for the person that is the opposite, the cure for all of that. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So what I tell them to do, but have you ever had healthy at all? No, never. Have you ever had healthy affection? Have you ever had healthy conversation? Have you ever trusted a man or woman? Never. But you just told me, didn't you, about your whole life? Yes, I did. Did you trust me? Yes, I did. Done. Own it. Own it. You accomplished it. If you shun it, you've never gotten anywhere, and you'll keep saying that. I'll give them a hold, they're crying and I'm holding them. I've never been able to trust anybody. I've never had affection. Fine. No. I guess I'm just nothing. So, but aren't you being held now? Yes. How's it feel? Wonderful. Who's feeling wonderful? See, I make him own it. You are. I'm feeling wonderful. Not because you're holding me. I'm held. I'm safe. I will work the wording to get the person, and I know it sounds elementary, guys, but it needs to be foundational level. Have you ever read a good book? Did you ever have a good meditation? Because people will use words like I've never. If you've never, then you never will. Because never is your program, never is your belief systems, never is your neurons. So start somewhere. And I know that some people say, oh, but there's the mountaintop and I'm way down here. I'm never going to reach that. And so it is. And I know it's a bummer because it's a step, owning it, a step, owning it, a step. It's what it's like. So the trillion-mile-long journey starts with the first step. For me, this is consistent with everything else I teach. If we were talking about how to change your life, this is consistent. If we were talking like I do every year, how to let's create a new year, a new life this year. And we talk about things like cleaning out your house and, preparing, get rid of the old. And own it. Own that you've accomplished that. But there are times, even for the best of us, where we say, you know what? I'm going to go and clean my garage today. And you do this. Maybe tomorrow. Not a problem. Not a problem. Who showed up today? The master or the human? To err is human. Mastery is divine. So a master is going to be tempted to open it and go, oh my God. But a master is going to go, okay, wait. Okay, God, I was going to do this for 4 hours. There's so much. A master is going to go, I'm going to commit to 30 minutes and get something accomplished. And then 30 minutes, the master's going to go, I probably could do another 20 minutes, I think. And, oh, wow, I finished the whole side on the right or the left or the top or the front. See? Divide and conquer. The ego tries to divide and conquer, meaning you accomplish something, it tears it down. That's ego, divide and conquer. Spiritual divide and conquer means accomplish something and give credit, give thanks. Own the results. And your comments about things, sometimes like best ever, that was amazing. I'm having dinner. I think I'm going to have a so-so meal today. I'm looking for a so-so meal. Really? What would you love to? Oh, well, I would really like such and such. Then let's have that. Because if you smile while you're eating, it's dang exciting. You're actually activating more enzymes to digest your food. Break the food down more, and less of it will turn to fat. It's true. Your systems need to be alive. If your systems are alive, people just don't understand what happens. Your body is really controlled mostly by your glands. not this organ, that, or this bone. Your glands are your most spiritual part of your body. If you go any more in terms of vibration higher than the glands, you're going into chakras. Chakras are connected to your glands. They're your lifeline between spirit and body. So your chakras are energetic. Glands are material, but they're the most energetic material things you've got. And the glands respond to feelings, not chemistry only, feelings. Happiness makes the glands go, oh my God, this is great. 5 Krispy Kreme donuts, and it's like, wow. It's like your body's like, hey, it's all good. Your body, because of consciousness can control matter, guys. So your consciousness is going to go, beloved, we're going to take the Krispy Kremes and we're going to turn them into food for your glands, your organs, your bones, all your systems. It can do it. Oh, no, it can't, because I read a medical journal last week. Someone online. It was, feardiet.com. And I went and looked at this important website, and it said, if you even look at a building with the name Krispy Kreme, your energy systems go backwards and your aura shuts down. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Consciousness. I thought, when I first heard of Krispy Kreme, that was like, oh my God, off the conveyor belt. Like, I'm watching the Christ-colored icing. Krispy Kreme, I thought, that's like Krispy Kreme, Christ consciousness. This is how I was framing it when I found my first Krispy Kreme place. It's true. It's meant to be. It's like I'm having Christ consciousness. Can I have 6 more? And you eat them and they like disappear. Like they're so etheric. They're pure energy. They like, I didn't even taste that. And it was like, and it was funny. And then I said, can I have a cup of the icing to dunk in? I swear, it was the funniest experience. But oh my God. And I remember that. And it's funny and it's wonderful. It was wonderful. How many people go, oh, just yesterday, I was doing my alfalfa, and I just was like, God, I can't wait. I want seconds of whatever this stuff is, spinach and those kinds of things. I've never seen somebody go like, God, I can't wait to get home. Why? I've got spinach waiting for me. Happiness, joy. Oh, but I heard if I don't eat my vegetables, I'm going to die. You're going to die anyway. But you're going to die miserably if you're doing alfalfa and whatever, these things are that you people eat. Please. Listen, you heard it here. If you're meant to be shot, you'll never drown. Okay? Just breathe it in. Breathe it in. Okay? Oh, but I heard, and there's this guy and this website, and you know what? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single day to your life? Jesus said. Who of you, he said the words, by worrying. As soon as you start worrying about it, you can't do anything. You're disempowered. He didn't say, who of you by loving can add a single day? You are. You're adding to today by being in a state of love and laughter, peace and joy. It's beautiful. Laugh. So many people, especially this world, especially now, is trying to dishearten people. In case you're not understanding that, you think it's about politics. You think it's about stuff of this world. Let me shine some light on that too. What's happening behind politics and pandemics, and all, it's not the linear that's actually happening. There's an evil fed by the ego that wants you hopeless, helpless. That's what evil is. Surely some people say evil wants you dead. I'm going to say it wants you to feel dead. Even while you're alive. It wants you to feel hopeless. Oh, and I ate these foods and I still got sick. I wore a mask and I did that, I got an injection or whatever, and this world cannot fix you or save you. Only the light of God. But I'm waiting for that. Now you're doing it like dating again. Where's my one and only? Where's God where the clouds part and the angels show up? Let me explain. Even if it happens right now and you hear this thunderous boom and the clouds open up and the presence of God comes in and you see angels smiling, beloved, namaste. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You better own the good today that you've got. Because tomorrow in this world, it's not going to happen. Unless you integrated it yesterday and became it. You see, you have to become it. You have to bring it. Fill your canteen in the oasis. Fill your canteen. You still got to hit the desert. You got a journey to go on. But fill your canteen. If you go, well, why bother? It's going to be empty again in a couple of days. That's hopelessness. And then there's those who say, I just won't leave the oasis. See? And that's hiding. You're not here to hide and you're not here to feel hopeless. You're here to be the light of the world for yourself and others. Fill the canteen. Fill up. Own the good in your life. If only, God, seriously? If only I had been born with whatever. If only I had been born without. If only I had different parents. If only. Just own. Own who you are. You are a holy child of God. Yeah, but I don't feel that way all the time. Understood. And when you don't, own that. Cry, discuss it, talk about it. Bring it to your sponsor, bring it to your counsel, bring it to God. Don't hide it. Don't deny it. But once you've brought it to the light, how do you feel? I feel better. Never forget that you just did this where you were feeling darkness, you prayed, and you felt better. Own that. Right? Own that. Own that you wanted to lose weight and you lost a pound. Oh, that's kind of cool. Own it. But it's not enough. It's not enough. Is that the voice of God or the ego? It's not enough. Oh, it's not good. I wanted a raise and I was hoping it would be 50 cents an hour. They gave me only 25. They only gave. It's, yes, I got a raise. I'm not trying to sound flippant because I know in our hearts and souls, there are things. I wish my partner hadn't died. I know that hurts. Obviously. But why are you bothered that they died? Because I really loved having them in my life. Really? So much so that you're owning that? What was it about them that you love? Well, we used to laugh a lot. Do you remember any of that? Close your eyes and try to remember when you laughed a lot. You'll see this on their face. You're owning it. You're bringing it back. The ego in you says, alas, I shall never be happy again because they've passed away and they were my source of happiness. No, you are your source by choice. And I'm choosing to remember some really great things that happened. Wow, pretty cool. And you're kind of laughing and you're smiling and so on. This world is going to try to keep you from doing that. You have a choice. Do you want to succumb to that? That evil, that ego. Something's trying to keep you from being happy, ever, by diminishing and minimizing things you've had in your life that have been good. So own them. And I know some of us go, you don't understand, Michael. This is denying the fact that I've had lots of hurts. I understand that. Are you hurting right now? No. So let's start with giving thanks that you're not in pain right now. See what I just did? Well, then why do that? I'll just be back in pain tomorrow. And so it is. That's easy. If you want to stay miserable, I don't even know why you're booking a session. Because, I'm not really wanting to participate in that. Do you want to go somewhere? And if somebody says, I feel 10% better, hopefully it's going to be 100%. But if only 10% less pain because you started working out, stretching, you're doing yoga, I don't know, man. Why not call that good? Why not call that, wow, 10%. I think I'd like to do more of this. Own every bit of good. It's so strange. Every bit of good so more can come. using scriptural concepts. Be faithful for what you've got and more will come. It means feelings too, right? Use the gifts that you're given and more will come. The gifts include a better day, less pain. See, it's fantastic. And, it's going to happen where, it's that time, in age, you got to go get your blood work. You got to have a colonoscopy. You got to get your eyes checked or whatever. These things happen. And if they say it's 80% good, that's pretty cool. Good job. Own the good of it. If they say, well, you've got some problem, we got to deal with that, I'm glad I found that out. Find something that feeds your soul and makes you feel better today, right? Find something. There's so many opportunities. If you can only start with, wow, I liked this service. If you say, this guy's horrible. He didn't say anything intelligent at all. But I laughed a couple times. Nice. Start right there. I did laugh. He's such a moron. He cracked me up. Great. Great. Because you needed to lighten up, man. You needed to So that makes me your savior. Own it. Breathe it in. Breathe like God. Thank you. And I'm telling you, a master. You take an average human being, you could put in front of them the Gita, the Upanishads, the Bible, the Torah. They get nothing. I don't know, just words. They get nothing because they're not putting themselves in the consciousness of God at all. They're being the critical mind, the linear mind, the judgmental mind, the doubtful mind. Plenty of that going around. But what about when a master could read a bubblegum wrapper and go, I don't know if they make those anymore, but a bubblegum wrapper. Honestly, many times I've come up at churches and spiritual centers around the world and they go, what are you going to talk about? I don't know. And I sit down because they have the opening music. And I've had this happen where I'm sitting and listening to the song and I go, bing, and the stuff starts downloading. From the song, from a note, from a word in the song, from even going, oh, that's a beautiful song. And then I think, oh, the word beautiful. And it all starts happening. This is for us all. All of us can and will inevitably get to this level of consciousness where we more frequently, positively, joyfully give thanks for the positives in our life. And it's not like I'm just saying, well, guys, just try to meagerly give thanks for any good you might have had. That's so minimal, I'm talking about really get it. I can see, an interview of somebody or, like, for example, just popped into my mind. I saw an interview of Bob Dylan once. This wasn't like a joy-filled thing, but I saw him talking once. And he's kind of talking, he kind of talks, that's the way he talks and all that. And they said, wow, what did you think about all those years you were writing this amazing lyrics? And well, I don't know. I remember some of the songs and they were really brilliant. He goes, sometimes I think back and I just go, wow. And they're like, and? He goes, well, I could never do that again. That's what he said. I could never do it again. I'm like, that's why it's not happening. Instead of, yes, let's go to a higher level. It's, oh, that ship has sailed. And this is what humans do. So for me, even though that was seemingly like a negative, I absorbed that and went, wow, that's how people think. If I was sitting with him, I'd say, no, dude, no, channel it. You were channeling then, channel it now. How? Or John Lennon. Almost every song after the Beatles, he's just singing about his girlfriend, wife, or whatever. Oh, that was exciting. He didn't even try because he didn't believe. He didn't even think he was a good musician or what. He was like that. Well, it's okay. Own it. Own it. Amazing lyrics. Own it. If you've been in love before, even if it fell apart years later, give thanks that you knew and you experienced what love was. Now, don't go back to it. Own it and let's go higher. That one lasted 2 years. I think I'm going to go for 5. Right? Go the next level, whatever it was. Everything in your life. Think back to anything that fed your soul in your happiness quotient at all in your life. Own it. That wasn't mine. That was yours. Own it. Well, and that person was really one, and they made my life, and they made me feel better, and they made me feel more sexy and sensual. They didn't make you anything. The opportunity was there. You chose to, step into it a little bit. Then you withdrew and said, oh, I guess that's gone. That was a mistake. Own it. I don't want to hear about, the person that you think gave you wonderful, stuff in life. Oh, that person made me feel so loved. Wow. You see how sad that is? Do you get that at all? They made you feel loved? Who's the they? Well, that person. There is no, it's a hologram. You're schizophrenic now. They're not there. There's no body. There's one of us. That was a part of you trying to awaken you. Did it work? Yes, but I'm crediting them. There's no them, so it didn't work. Talk about your love level, your happiness level, your creative level, your whatever it is. Lyricism, whatever you do, your hobbies, your talents. We're here to experience and be the presence of God. Minimize it. To me, that's very tragic. And we all have it happen. I've seen myself do that at times. I've seen those moments where I'm like, yeah, but, or something like that. And stop, Michael, wait, hold on. What just happened there? Let's breathe it in. Wow. Best ever. That, or even just without the comparative best ever. That was amazing. And this is what I choose to be. Wow. You see what I'm doing there? Think about this for a moment. Breathe it in. If you sit there listening to John, for example, he's playing music or Bear or guest musician, and you sit there going, okay, yeah, that's really nice music, yeah. You're in your head. Insane head, mind you, because you're not allowing yourself to go, wait a minute, what was that? Right? Wow. I love that. I love if I've seen a movie, that the spirituality in a movie, and I go, wow. Just recently, I shared with some of you, was the first time I ever heard Joni Mitchell. And when I first heard a song or two, I thought, well, it's not really my style. But I listened, and I went, oh my God. And then I saw, it's not a coincidence. The universe is going, let's support that. Then I saw an interview with one of her ex-boyfriend musician guys, and he's going, I really was challenged in a relationship with her. Why so? Because she'd be gone for the day. She'd come home, and I'd go, look, I wrote a song. She'd go, I wrote 3. Let's check them out. And her songs were better. They were better poetry, better lyrics. And they would go, oh, it just was so challenging because they didn't own their talent. You see what I'm doing there? Yeah. They can own hers, and then they should be going the way Lennon and McCartney did. Dude, that's a great song. I'm going to work on mine now. That's when you're integrating and you're using the outside to take you to higher levels on the inside. So there's so many examples of this, whether it's world figures, there's so many examples of people minimizing who they are and their abilities. And I'm not just talking about external abilities, feelings. Come back to things that make you happy. Come back to, absorbing. Don't leave here today without 10 or 20 or whatever number of, wow, what was that? Amazing. Wow, what he did. You don't have to go and do learn the instruments. Just that you created somebody channeling notes that stirs your soul. You created it. He's only a symbol. You liked the talk. You liked what, oh yeah, that guy's really good. Maybe I'll watch him in a couple weeks. No, be the change you would like to see in the world. What did you hear me do? What did you feel? And then own that feeling. Fantastic. Food. My God, man. That's what I do. It's even the foods I almost never settle And settling for me would be like, well, I wasn't really in the mood to cook something or whatever. It's almost never there. For me, it's like, I get happy when I'm thinking of, okay, right now, it's going to be Girl Scout mint cookies and some cold milk, man. I get really happy. Like I feel a skip in my step, like on my way to the fridge. Silly, isn't it? And when I pray and meditate, and when I do the Sunday services, I'm telling you, man, I feel high. So please, as we close now, watch for the things you do in your life that either A, already are minimal, not good vibes, negative vibes. Why even do them? Or B, things that could have been positive, but you brushed off and made them negatives. Why do any of that? Once you see that and own that, why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? This was amazing. Wow, this service today was amazing. You don't even have to call it the best. It was amazing. And that's what I'm doing in my life now. And I want my foods to be like this, assuming if you liked it. I want my foods to be like this. I want my relationships to be like this. I'm ready for this. See it, own it. Don't make it a goal on your charts only. If you make it a goal on your charts, you better be integrating those things from the charts. Whoever you saw on the picture, pot of gold, start having Solomon consciousness. Richest man in history. Start owning that. Don't ask for money from God. Become the change you want to see in the world. In your world. Okay? Own these things. How beautiful. And sometimes they're not things you're going to literally go manifest. It's the feeling. And I close with, I remember one time sitting in an airport and I saw this family walk by. They had little ones, dad, mom, and a couple little ones. And I looked and I thought, wow, they look happy. My experience wasn't happy family. So I'm like, look how happy, like functional, well-adjusted. I'm like, wow. And then a part of me went, I wonder, because this is what we do, literal, I should go find a family. I need to go get a wife and have kids and, that sort of thing, which I've already had. So I'm like, oh, wow. And what I did was close my eyes and breathe in their happiness. So now, thank you for bringing that to me today. They don't even know that their family gave me a miracle, a feeling. I'm so grateful that someone could symbolize a healthy family. You see? And you. And you, my friend. And us. Last week, when service was over, you shared a compliment. And you talked about Jesus and Christ consciousness. And I want you to know that I heard that. I heard it all week. Wow. So, did you hear? You remember it? See? A comment made by an observer in the audience. And I kept it with me all week. And I was thinking like, that was my most favorite comment that he's ever shared. And it was one of the best ever shared. Like I made it that, like, wow. See, I practiced that. See it, do it, breathe it in. If you see a healthy couple here, go, even if you don't have one, breathe it into yourself so it is part of you forever. Then you can more likely attract it, create it. Thank you, brother.
If I may, you stirred up in me, I love all of you. Thank you all. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, brother.
I appreciate it.
Let's take this into a brief meditation.
So music or uplifting?
Yeah.
What would you like?
John's going to share some so-so music right now. And
You want to try something new?
anything you feel
Let's
right.
do something new.
But we set the intention. We ask and set the intention that it's inspired. That's not too much to ask, right? Just set self aside, let God move through you, and it'll be great. Centering, breathing. Our deservability. Our deservability. The tensions of life and the world are melting with each note. happiness, peace. Seek first the feeling of God, and all things will be added. It's okay if you still ask for stuff. It's the way of the old. It's the old way. We're programmed. But what if you focus on feeling as though it already is? Happy, prosperous, joyous. Loved. Be courageous. Think of something in the last week or weeks, anything that was better than usual or better than ever, whichever fits. Think of something that was wonderful. Oh my God, I saw this great movie. It really opened my heart. Great. A quote, a friendship, your body work that you were doing, the readings you were doing, the sales if you're selling things. Wonderful. This is the best week I've ever had with my fellow workers or employees. Great. Celebrate. Find it. Hopefully you'll find more than one. It cannot be taken. Don't go into fear. It can't be taken unless you minimize it. It's yours and it's a feeling. The feeling is breathed in, cannot be touched. What God joins, nothing can rent asunder. Nothing can break apart. So own the feeling, that's God joining it with you, and nothing can change that. Oh, wow. You mean it's mine? Yes. Breathe it in. Favorite, like food, drink, hug, whatever. Breathe it in. More than one. Feel the joy. Feel the pleasure. Feel the goodness of it. Feel appreciation. See if you can allow yourself to move a little bit, hum a little bit. Happiness. Nice. This is mine. God and I are dancing now. All around the world, sound, song, movement. There you go. The presence of God. Get into divine ecstasy of King David, spinning and dancing and moving and twirling. He's feeling the presence of God, and nothing can deny it. He refuses. The concept of taking it away from him would be silly. Even if it's just humming to yourself. Sounds, syllables, anything. Yes, 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 yes. Gratitude. Soak in the gratitude. This is mine, forever mine. Jesus himself, that which you've seen me do, you shall do and more. Be it, own it. From human broken to human awakening to mastery. I'm talking about living mastery, not wearing certain garbs or living in a cave, living day-to-day mastery. Then we become gods and goddesses again. Then we become the I am of God itself. A day at a time. Give thanks. And own every bit of goodness. Wow. Oh, for being so-so, that was amazing so-so.
And so it is.
So it is. And I love that some of you, the tears and the, absolutely. Beautiful. I'm so grateful. Oh, man. Let go, let God. Feel grateful, feel good. Ah. And how nice that there's not a doctrine or a dogma that we follow. It's just, to be happy. To really live what God intends for us to live. In a moment, we'll do the collections. I'm grateful for everything we do here. I'm grateful for your trust in what I do. I'm grateful that every week there's something different and it feels beautiful and profound. It's what we're creating. I'm grateful for all of our musicians that we choose because they're chosen because they're congruent. Your board members, your staff, volunteers, man, they're all part of something that's not linear. It's a space you step into, and the space has been decided, God. And then our 12-step groups. I mean, it's just all these things, all the good that people bring to this center. We're co-creating something fantastic. I love that Earth, Wind, and Fire are our patron saints. Just, yeah, we do their tunes once in a while and when we start the service. I love that because I love them. I love what they did, talking about God in pop songs constantly. You're a shining star no matter who you are. Shining bright to see what you can truly be. You know, just like, yes, obviously. Beautiful. So thank you very much. We're going to do our collection and our closing song. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. That's right. Sing, move, you know, feel alive. And no matter how broken your past might have been, remember, there's always something you can own and breathe in that was a tad better. Even if all you can do is say, I only had 1% of 1% of a better day. If you don't own that, you won't even have that.
Right.
Own it. More will come.
Right.
Get the consciousness and more will come because that which we see is coming from consciousness. So raise the consciousness. How? A day at a time. Breathe it in, assimilate it, own it. Just like your nutrients. If your body doesn't absorb well the highest expensive nutrients, start with something else and maybe just start with a simple nutrient instead of overwhelming your system. Start somewhere with something. That's right. That's right. I'm still holding the vision in Sedona for Krispy Kreme, a Krispy Kreme store. It won't happen. There's too many granolas here, you know, but it's, they pick it, you know. It's sugar-based. And, as Maxwell Smart would say, and loving it. All right. So, we'll do our prosperity prayer. It's on the front of your bulletins. Anybody old enough to remember that show like me? Thank you. Thank you. That guy's great. And the actor passed away from cancer, and they interviewed him, you know, at the end. And Don Adams is his name. And he said, well, I told my friends I'm going to be passing away, so I asked them to gather around. When that time comes, I want my closest friends to gather around and do what they can to resuscitate me. It's a nice way for the ending. Peace, peace, peace. All right, please stand for our closing prayer. Quite fun. Gratitude, gratitude. If all you did was laugh and all you did was laugh once today, oh my God. Loved that. Soak it in. Why did you laugh? What made you laugh about that one and only thing? Soak it in. Find some more of it. You know, people pray to angels to change their life. Uriel and Ariel and Michael. Try Lariel and Curliel and Moel. You know, I mean, come on, lighten up. Right? God. How could angels be angels if they didn't have a lighten up, you know, attitude? And anybody that ever symbolized good, even if it was one fraction, when you stop and say thank you, you add a feather to their wings to help them go to higher consciousness. Gratitude. So misunderstood. I'm glad that anybody practices it at all. Yet, let's go higher. Really feeling it. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, and we are, and so it is. Now, before you leave, remember, John DeMoss, his website, johndemos.com. Do you have products today?
I do have CDs.
He has the CDs and products in the foyer, so please stop and check that out.
Concert here coming up on November 20th.
And a concert in a couple of weeks. Please. No, November. Oh, okay. So in November, so a few weeks. So blessings to you all. Thank you for being with us.